On XR Extra today, we have exclusive behind-the-scenes interviews with the Gravity Throttle Racing team.
You know, it's one thing to make a car fast, but these builders are...
We will also be talking to Rick and DA, the drunken alien from XR Diecast Racing.
We've got the Lords Racing League talking about their new tournament. The British are coming.
So stick around. Welcome back to XR Extra. What a lineup, Tom.
Yes, the viewers are in for a real treat today. We will also be reflecting on our own recent tournament at Corkscrew Laguna and talking about our upcoming track.
What upcoming track? I didn't know we were developing a new racetrack. Nobody mentioned it.
Where were you the last tournament, Ruby? We talked about it loads.
Tom, she's being sarcastic, mate.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Anyway, let's kick things off with our Gravity Throttle Racing interview. Welcome to the studio, Richard and Aaron.
Great to have you here, guys. I'm a huge fan of your racetrack. What a location, too. That was an incredibly close final for the Baja Bouncer Invitational. How would you sum up this tournament?
Oh, gosh.
Well, I would say that the Baja Bouncer Invitational has been the most competitive tournament we've ever hosted.
Yeah, I have to agree with Aaron. You know, it's one thing to make a car fast, but these builders are getting so skilled at traversing through Chavano Mountain Raceway. It comes down to, you give them all the same model, you know, the Baja Bouncer.
Many of the races were very close.
Yeah, in almost all the group races, it came down to the final race to figure out which two are going to advance.
Man, that was a really close tournament with a lot of talented drivers. I was on the edge of my seat watching from home for most of the races. I was gutted. All the tickets were sold out to watch it live.
Tom, we're interviewing Richard and Aaron, not you. Guys, if you could each pick a favourite racing moment from the tournament, what would it be?
You go first, Aaron.
Well, my favorite moment was seeing 3 of the finalists end up in a 3-way tie after 8 races in the finals. If you look at the race itself, it began with Isley, who was 6 points behind, I believe, and then from the outside lane, he drifts, pulls ahead, and wins the race, and adds 6 more points to pull himself right back in the mix of those 3. And then you got to hand it to the Essex boys. They were just consistent throughout. They were patient, consistent, and they really drove well. And then Sneaky Bob, the fact that his truck had some problems, he was drifting quite well, but then come the finals, by the time he got to the finals, it was really a mystery why his truck was having trouble drifting. And then to barely pull it off in the 8th race and have enough momentum to finish in first, he is the one that brought about that 3-way tie. So to me, that was the most exciting part of this tournament.
And for me, I go back to quarterfinal number 1. If you look at what happened with those 4 racers, they finish race 7, and 3 of the 4 are tied, and the other one is like a point behind. So now they're going to the last race. You have no idea who's going to win. For the 2 top seeds, they had the drift opportunity, so that was their advantage. That was to their advantage. That particular quarterfinal had maybe like 5 or 6 DNFs in total. It was just phenomenal to see how well each of those Baja trucks was handling the terrain and how competitive they were. So after the 8th race, you know, the final score was something like 19, 20, 21, and 22, something like that, where it was just so close, you had no idea who was going to win.
Yeah, that really sums up the whole tournament. We were kept on the edge of our seat the whole time. Thrilling. So what's next for Gravity Throttle Racing? You surprised fans with a sneak peek of your new track in the recent final. What can you share with us on that?
Haha, yeah, the new track. Really, it's fun to watch the crew work on it, set it up, and to see some of our expert drivers testing it. The exciting part about this track, of course, is the sand dunes, and you know, you got to build a vehicle that's going to be able to handle it and not wipe out. But you got to be fast enough to get over the jump at the end, clear the train, and
well, you've got to be able to be fast, like on Chavano Mountain.
Right.
But you have to be able to handle those sand dunes and have some sort of suspension. Otherwise, you're going to be turtling it over.
So, yeah, we're going to have a tournament where only knobby tires are allowed on these vehicles so they can get through that sand. And what we didn't tell the folks in our sneak peek is that the upper section of the track is they're going to muddy it down. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get through than it may have appeared the first time.
This sounds absolutely insane, guys. I can't wait to see the new track in action. Thank you so much for coming in.
Let's talk to a couple of the tournament finalists, Sneaky Bob and Essex Boys Racing.
Welcome to XR Extra Sneaky Bob. Thanks for coming in. Sneaky Bob, sum up the tournament for us. What were your favorite moments and how did it feel to win, particularly when it went to a tiebreaker in the final?
This tournament went pretty well for me. The first race that I was in, I drifted well and I won the group. The quarterfinals, again, drifted well, won the group. The semifinals, we drifted well and won the group. In the finals, the truck wouldn't drift. I'd pull the handbrake and nothing would happen. We looked, we tried to get it fixed, and it looks like it might have been cut or broke very strangely. And then in the tiebreaker, I figured out that I could drop a gear and get the back wheels to break loose and get that drift. So that's how we won in that tiebreaker, was me adapting to the truck's condition. This tournament was a lot of fun. I want to thank Mark for putting it on and for all the drivers that raced against me, and it feels good to get another win under my belt.
Congratulations, Sneaky Bob, and thanks for coming on our talk show. We also spoke to Baja Bouncer Invitational finalists, Essex Boys Racing. They were traveling for another tournament, so could not come in today, but they did give us this statement to read out. My son and I were proud just to get to the Gravity Throttle Racing Baja Bouncer final all the way from Essex in England. Before the race, we just hoped to finish third, as we were not fast as some, but consistent. Then with one race to go, we were in the lead, but it was not to be. Can't lie, we are still disappointed as we came so close and lost in the three-way tie race-off. But Sneaky Bob deserved the victory. Diecast racing can be an emotional roller coaster, and this was great on an amazing track.
Before we speak to Rick and DA, the drunken alien, Tom, I've got a question for you.
Fire away, Joe.
Do you ever walk around your house and spot one of your kids' Hot Wheels cars on the floor and pick it up? And it's a real beauty. You think to yourself, am I really checking out my kids' Hot Wheels cars? This is what my life has come to?
Well,
Let me finish. It gets worse. So after admiring the car, you think, he won't notice if one car goes missing. You slip it into your pocket and it finds itself in your own collection, if you know what I mean.
Jesus, Joe. There are some things you just don't share.
Was I talking to you, Ruby, or was I talking to Tom?
Joe, you were on your own with this one. Sorry, buddy.
Whatever.
Let's welcome to the studio Rick and DA from Rick's Diecast Racing.
Welcome to the studio, Rick and DA. It's awesome to have you here in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely awesome to be here with you. This beautiful land of yours. Thanks for having us.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. But we know the only reason why Racing Rick is here so you could have me here.
Rick started this whole thing, DA. Don't get cheeky. That's my job.
Let's not conflict with our extraterrestrial guest, Joe. So, DA, where did you come from? And how did you get involved in Rick's Diecast Racing?
Well, that's a great question. I come from Chimera DA4. I'm sure no one's heard of it. It's a very small planet.
No, we haven't.
Well, the reason why I came to Rick's Diecast Racing is because he's an idiot.
Harsh.
And he can't control his drivers. They're always running into things, driving recklessly. They broke several finish lines, and then to top it off, they ran over my babies. I can't have that. I'm very protective over all 27 of my babies. So I went to the Galactic Council, and I asked them if they could award me the War Series. And they did. They thought it seemed fitting that I take over and bring some justice to this show.
Interesting. Guys, tell us about your latest Custom Carnage tournament. How did it go? What were your favorite races or race moments?
Oh, man. Custom cartage. What can I even say? It's such a blast doing it. These guys just put everything into these cars, and the drivers just give it all they got and lay it out there on the track each and every time. Each season's been something different. I swear it's something crazy. I always say expect the unexpected at the Comitel, and last year was no different, having two teams with four, each team having two cars. So 4 cars, but just 2 different teams. That was something you don't see very often, and it was crazy, and I enjoyed everything about it, but just that final was just absolutely nuts between Numbskull and Milestone Racing, 2 of the best out there, and they gave it one heck of a shot there on that end, and it was a great show, that's for sure. I loved every bit of it.
Oh, yes. Custom Carnage is awesome. And I have a big surprise for the next one coming up.
How about your WIR stock tournament that is currently running? Are you allowed to tell us your favourite to win, or which cars are standing out to you at the moment?
Yeah, sure. I can't think of any one moment that has actually stood out amongst the rest. But as far as who I'm picking to win, I'm saying it's going to have to be Happy Chappy, our returning champion, as he's got the speed and the ability to win it all, and he definitely knows the calm and tell better than most drivers out there right now.
Shut up, Racing Rick. You're an idiot. Everyone knows Zoe's gonna win it all.
Wow. Okay, thanks for coming in, guys. We really appreciate it. Last but by no means least, we have the Lords Racing League. Welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio.
Hey, man, I'm glad you invited us over here. It's definitely a pleasure for us, too.
Oh, yeah. I've always wanted to be featured on a talk show, so this is just absolutely awesome to be doing right now.
Yeah, let's see if we can get them to not talk so much. We'll see what happens.
Oh, is that how you feel about me?
I'm just saying.
We're huge fans of your racetrack, and we're excited to see that you were hosting a British car tournament. How is the tournament going so far? And what are your favorite looking cars in the tournament?
Oh, man, it's doing great. I tell you what, I mean, with all the battles and everything that are going on with these builders, I mean, we're just loving the tournament. And, of course, you know, the British cars are so classy and sleek. What else could you ask for?
Oh, I know. And as for the favorite cars, boy, we got just tons. I mean, some of the ones that stand out to me are Arlo. He's got a great kind of fade-in kind of paint job. Hot Nuts, again, I mean, flames. You got, you know, decals of all sorts. And even Mr. Dark. And there's all kinds. I mean, it's hard to pick just one.
Yeah, we got some of the top builders made their way here, and we're so glad they are. And I mean, we got everything from a taxi cab, an old school taxi cab, to a Bear Dry and a Triumph. So, I mean, really, what else could you ask for?
You got everything.
We look forward to seeing how the tournament progresses. What else can we expect from the Lords Racing League in the future?
Yeah, well, thank you. Hopefully everybody will continue to watch because, I mean, I can tell you from some of the races that we're going to be having coming up shortly, you will not want to miss them. And in the future, all I can say is expect the unexpected. We're always trying to think of things out of the normal box of things. I already got stuff in my brain. And, of course, the continuous track, it will be coming back. We're working on building it to make it smoother and just as good as the track that we have now. And I also can't wait for the builders to start sending in their cars and start doing some races on that.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, you got the builders. They build just, you know, they get one lap down the track and then they have, you know, time to maintenance their cars. But it just makes me wonder how it's going to be when we have a continuous track going. It's really going to test the endurance and durability of their builds, and I'm sure we're going to have all kinds of different cars. It'll be interesting to see which cars do the best on the continuous track.
Oh, yeah, it'll really stretch them out there. So, yeah, and I just want to say thank you all for having us over. It's been such a joy and a pleasure to hang out with y'all, check out your track, and, of course, we'll go over a few things. I love talking diecast racing, so, and hopefully we'll be able to come back over and chat a little bit more. So, we'll definitely keep an eye out. So, God bless y'all, and keep those races coming.